Ini, Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ini kok yang hadir baru 55 ya. Mbak Hima,
Nggih, Pak.
ini diundang semua tuh mahasiswa komunikasi ini?
Nggih, diundang semua, Bapak. Ini yang
Jumlahnya
sudah,
berapa?
tapi sepertinya belum semuanya masuk, Bapak.
Apa
Baru
kuliah? Ada
separuhnya.
jadwal kuliah hari ini yang
Sudah dikosongkan, Pak.
dikosongkan ya?
Sudah dikosongkan. Ini nanti
Mhm.
apa namanya yang tidak mengikuti apa sertifikasi dan juga workshop hari ini kemungkinan nanti di semester depan kan ada komunikasi digital. Nah, itu nanti ada apa namanya poin-poinnya, Pak. Jadi memang harus diwajibkan untuk ikut ini.
Ya. Tolong teman-teman mahasiswa yang ada di sini, tolong disampaikan ke teman yang lain ya, untuk segera bergabung. Dan pada saat pelaksanaan kegiatan, tolong apa namanya, ini videonya dimunculkan ya, dimunculkan. Ini Pak Yosef ini dari Amerika.
Dari Singapura, Pak.
Oh, dari Singapura.
Oke,
Dia online-nya dari Singapura ya, Mbak?
dari Singapura, Pak. Ini sebentar saya Mbak Fesi sudah apa menjawil Bayu ya, Mbak ya?
Sudah,
Mas
sudah
Bayu
Mbak.
udah
Ini
masuk?
segera segera join. Mas Bayu ini sedang mau ini Pak, join Pak.
Oh iya,
Aku
iya.
sudah komunikasi sama narasumbernya.
Halo, selamat pagi semuanya.
Pagi Mas Bayu.
Selamat
Pagi.
pagi Pak Fadli dan rekan-rekan
Eh,
semuanya. Mohon
Mohon maaf
maaf
lahir
telat.
batin ya Mas Bayu.
Siap sama-sama. Aku pikir
Iya.
acaranya jam 9.30, soalnya invitationsnya kan di jam 9.30.
Oh gitu ya.
Jadi, tapi nggak
Oh,
apa-apa, aku udah japri Dokter Ferdinya. Dia sedang di perjalanan ke kantor, jadi harusnya nanti bisa join mungkin kurang lebih sekitar sembilan dua
9.30.
puluhan lah.
9.20-an ya.
Sembilan
Oh
dua
ya
puluhan,
ya ya.
9.30-an gitu.
Ya.
Ya,
Cuman nggak apa-apa,
9.30.
Ya,
Sembilan
sambil
tiga puluh nanti
menunggu
kita mulai
mahasiswa
ya,
ya
Mas.
Mas Bayu.
Siap-siap.
Ya.
Paling nanti aku nitip Bu Festi untuk assign co-host ke Dr. Ferdin ya, untuk proses
Oh ya,
presentation
presentasi
dan
ya.
sebagainya. Nanti untuk flow-nya berarti Pak Fadli akan opening kah atau gimana?
Ya, ya. Nanti Pak Fadli dulu, habis itu Mas Bayu, habis itu Mas Bayu langsung ngantar ke Dokter Fadlin ya.
Oke, Dr.
Ya.
Ferdin. Oke, oke, oke.
Mas, ini saya live-kan di YouTube ya, Mas.
Boleh, boleh.
Ya, ya.
Untuk quizesnya nanti aku share ke Bu Festi ya, quiz linknya ya. Jadi nanti
Ya.
Bu Festi bisa cascade ke student yang ikut kelas hari ini. Terus ada dua quizzes dan kalau lulus nanti akan ada dua sertifikasi juga
Oke, oke.
gitu.
Ya, ya. Nanti dijelasin sekalian waktu pas sesinya Mas Bayu gitu ya.
Boleh,
Oke,
boleh.
ya.
Good morning, Mr. Ferdin. You?
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How about you?
Alhamdulillah. Good. Ini Pak Bayu udah datang.
Ya,
Pak Bayu.
mungkin kita bisa mulai kali ya, Pak Fadli, Bu
Iya,
Mercy,
iya.
dan rekan-rekan. Mau dari tim UNES dulu untuk opening kah atau dari kami, Pak?
Oh ya, nanti kami aja dulu ya Pak Bayu, karena saya nanti akan ada apa namanya monef dari PMDSU juga ini.
Oke, siap-siap.
Ya,
Oke,
ya,
silakan
ya,
Bapak. Terima kasih.
ya. Terima kasih Mas Bayu. Pak Pak Ferdin bisa bahasa Melayu, bahasa Indonesia atau pakai bahasa Inggris?
Pakai bahasa Inggris.
Oh ya, 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 ya. So you have to speak in English ya.
Ini kita mulai aja sekarang atau mau menunggu mahasiswa Ilkom lagi Mbak
Nah,
Yuni enaknya?
sekarang mulai aja Mbak.
Sekarang ya, oke. Mbak Lina mungkin bisa dimulai Mbak Lin.
Izin masuk teman-teman mahasiswa, kameranya dinyalakan ya. Kita semuanya on cam. Baik, saya mulai jadi Bapak Ibu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hormat.
Mikrofonnya kayaknya perlu dihitung, Bu Lina. Di
Nggak kedengeran buat Lina, suaranya nggak kedengeran.
mikrofonnya ditaruh di mulut ya, kayaknya. Itu masih ke atas kuping.
Masih ke atas dulu.
Sudah dengar belum ya, Pak?
Ya, udah, lumayan lah.
Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Selamat
Waalaikumsalam
pagi.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Yang kami hormati, Wakil Dekan Bidang Akademik dan Kemahasiswaan, Fakultas Ilmu Sosial dan Ilmu Politik, Universitas Negeri Semarang, Dr. Sains Med Fadli Hussein SOS MSI. Yang kami hormati, narasumber kita pada hari ini, Dr. Ferdin Joseph dari Alibabab Cloud Senior Training Advisor, dan Bapak Bayu Irawan SIP MKOM, Regional Training Operation, dan seluruh Bapak Ibu dosen dan teman-teman mahasiswa Prodi Ilmu Komunikasi yang berbahagia. Puji syukur kita panjatkan kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa atas limpahan rahmat serta hidayahnya, sehingga pada pagi hari ini kita dapat bersama-sama hadir secara daring dalam acara workshop dan sertifikasi internasional Alibaba Cloud. Baik, Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, selanjutnya langsung saja kita sambut arahan dari Wakil Dekan Bidang Akademik dan Kemahasiswaan, Dr. Sains Med Fadli Hussein SOS MSI. Kami silakan, Bapak.
Ya, terima kasih Bu Lina, thank you very much. Mbak Lina ya, for the today's meeting. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. May today we always be given health and happiness in our day for today and our life. Respected Mr. Dr. Ferdi Jujon Yosef, yeah,
Yep.
as Alibaba Cloud Training Advisor, and always respected Mas Bayu. Yeah, Mas Bayu, thank you for your presence in this activity as a collaboration with FISIP UNES and Alibaba Cloud, yeah, Alibaba Cloud. And respective our fellow lecturers, especially from Department of Communication, FISIP UNES, education staff, and also students, which is today the students who are present are students from the communication department. Yeah, Department of Communication. This is a new department actually in our faculty. Yeah, so the youngest department or the youngest study program in our faculty. Actually, this activity is a implementation of the collaboration between Alibaba Cloud and FISIP UNES, which has been running since last year and assist by Mas Bayu, Mas Bayu. There are many benefits actually that we have received from this collaboration program, especially for the student gain knowledge and skills concerning on the cloud applications, Alibaba Cloud, designed by Alibaba, and of course the student get additional competency certificates from this program. So there are many students from our faculty has received their certificate, and they also already make a report to university that they have already the certificate for the Alibaba Cloud. I hope that this knowledge and the skills that have been obtained by the students will be useful and can be implemented during their studies in university, especially for in faculty, and especially for the after completing these lectures, their study in UNES and entering their world of work. Yeah, this is, I think, this certificate and this knowledge and skills can be very useful for their work life. Yeah. For that, the fellows, the student fellows, the students, especially for the students comes from the Department of Communications. Please focus for joining this meeting today and enjoying participating in this activity or this workshop. Yeah. And finally, I would like to, last but not least, I would like to thank to Alibaba Cloud, especially for the Mas Bayu and Dr. Joseph for their trust and cooperation these 2 years, these 2 years, and hopefully this cooperation will come in the future, thank you very much and good morning, everyone.
Baik, terima kasih Pak WD1, Bapak Fadli atas sambutannya. Selanjutnya langsung kita akan melaksanakan workshop dan sertifikasi internasional Alibaba Cloud yang langsung akan dipandu oleh Bapak Bayu Irawan, SIP MKOM. Kami silakan Pak Bayu.
Terima kasih Bu Lina. Thank you Dr. Fadli for the warm welcome. Thank you everyone for coming to this workshop sessions. First and foremost, allow me to introduce myself for those who might not know me. So I've been coming over to UNES, I think last year, for us to complete the MOU ceremony, and this second workshop is actually the implementations of our collaborations between Alibaba Cloud Academy and also UNES, specifically for communications faculties. And in today's or this morning workshop, right, the session is going to be led by Dr. Ferdin. He's basically one of our senior training advisor within Alibaba Cloud Academy, and he's going to be delivering the content related to introductions of Alibaba Cloud in specific. And since most of you guys do not having an IT background, so we're going to be adjusting the content in order to meet up with your background requirements. And aside from that, I'll be sharing it over the link quizzes to Ibu Festi in order for you to be able to complete the quizzes, and by the end of the courses, you will be able to get the certifications that being issued by Alibaba Cloud. And what most important that I would like to address in this session is basically the course or the workshop that we have is not only just aiming to get the certifications, but hopefully the transfer knowledge that we are doing would be able to give you a beneficial knowledge related to the background of the IT technologies that we are currently using. And hopefully by having this transfer knowledge, you will be able to know more about what is cloud computing in general, and then what is digitalizations in general. And by knowing this behind the scene of technologies that in our day-to-day activities being used, you would know what's the next purpose of your upcoming plan or upcoming journey after you graduated from these universities. And for sure, if ever you have any further questions or concerns related to the modules and related to the topics as well as the quizzes, do not hesitate to let us know, and we'll try our best to assist the inquiries, the concern, and so on. And one last thing that I would like to also remind, in order for you to be able to access the modules, in order for you to be able to access the quizzes, everyone here will require to create an Alibaba Cloud account. So the account is mandatory to be created, especially for those who just recently joined this program, because the quizzes and also the module can only be accessed through our portals. And to be able to access the portals, required an account creations in advance. So I'll be sharing it over to Bufesti on the guideline of the Alibaba Cloud account ID creations. Once you create the account, Bufesti will also share it over to you, the quizzes link. We've been providing this link for free, so you can access the quizzes for free and collecting the certification for free as well. And we're going to be opening it for unlimited attempts, so you can try the quizzes up until you pass. Okay, so I think without further ado, I will be passing it over the sessions to Dr. Ferdin in order to provide with further insight and also transfer knowledge related to Alibaba Cloud technology, specifically for cloud computing. Over to you, Dr. Ferdin.
Okay, thank you, Bayu. Thank you for a nice introduction, and thank you for a warm welcome, Dr. Fadli. So today, my talk I have split into like two parts. Like the first part, I will give an introduction about Alibaba Cloud and the Alibaba Group, and then we will be learning about the cloud server and the basics of cloud computing. That's what we are going to see for today. So, so this is like not so technical. You don't need to scare much. If you think like we are going to teach programming, no, we are not going to teach programming. If you require any kind of technical background or technical or basic prerequisite, definitely you don't really require anything. So if you have an interest to learn and to know something new, so this session is not going to be difficult. So then I'm trying to go in a very slower pace so you can understand easily. So let me share my first presentation on the introduction to Alibaba Cloud. And Bayu will be sharing the quizzes with you people. So you can take the Clouder quizzes and you can take it at any time. Like even if you have it now, you can start now, or like even after going home, or like whatever, whenever you are comfortable with. So firstly, we look on to the introduction to Alibaba Cloud. So if you want to know about the success story of Alibaba Cloud in Indonesia, I would recommend you to watch a video in YouTube. So you can search in YouTube like Alibaba Cloud, Kopi Kenagan, like you just search it like this way, Kopi Kenagan space Alibaba Cloud. You will get like how Alibaba Cloud has transformed a business to come into this cloud computing, and they started using some of our biggest solutions, and now they are able to provide a seamless service. Like if you do online ordering, you won't have any difficulty in making the orders done, right? So that's because Alibaba Cloud is supporting a lot of solutions for Kopi Kanagan. So you can get to know what we are doing with them through those videos. So you can watch it later. Just I gave like the information that you can get more information from that. Now, coming to the business development strategy, we belong to the big umbrella of Alibaba Group, and Alibaba Cloud is providing the IT and the cloud infrastructure for all the subsidiaries of the Alibaba group. So if you take Alibaba group as an umbrella, they have the strategy of user first and AI driven. So that's based on the call from our group chairman Joe Tsai and the CEO Eddie Wu in May 2024. And when it comes to Alibaba Cloud, we are going with a cloud also with AI. So if you think about most of the cloud service providers, you may think about only about the cloud. But when you think about Alibaba Cloud, talking about AI is inevitable, because in every strategy or every solution, you have AI with us. So we are going to go with like the artificial general intelligence. That's how the strategy goes with the Alibaba Group CEO, Eddie Wu's words. Now I'm going to talk about Alibaba Cloud's global service today. So we were established in the year 2009. So before 2009, what was Alibaba doing? So you all know very well the founder of Alibaba Group is Jack Ma, right? So Jack Ma created this Alibaba Group in the year 1999 in a small condominium in Hangzhou. So he has a vision. Like during the time of 1999, it was a time of internet boom. We started to have our dial-up connections for the internet. In those days, in the mainland China, the number of people who were using internet was higher than anywhere in the world. So you all know about the communication systems, right? So we need to connect the people through the internet. So Jack Ma saw this as an opportunity to connect the mainland China businesses with the rest of the world, because they are all having the good amount of internet connectivity. And then Alibaba.com, as you may be familiar with, so that is like a B2B platform. So it's like to have the wholesale vendors to supply the materials to other retail vendors. And then he started Alibaba Group's B2C platforms like Taobao, Tmall, and then for the fintech, he started Alipay. So today in the Southeast Asia, most of the wallets are connected with Alipay wallet as well. Like in Indonesia, we have Dana. So the Dana's wallet is also connected with Alipay. And then for maintaining all these IT solutions or the e-commerce platforms, and then the Alipay, we need to have a cloud infrastructure or an IT infrastructure by ourselves. So we can use this kind of cloud service provider. Like that's the reason why we have this Alibaba Cloud, which was established in the year 2009. And along with Jack Ma, it was Dr. Jian Wang who created this Alibaba Cloud. So when you think about cloud or cloud computing, what comes into your mind? Like, can anyone explain like what is cloud? Is it the cloud which you see on the picture? So what is cloud? We are talking a lot about Alibaba Cloud and then the cloud businesses. So is it the cloud which you saw in the picture?
Yes.
No, it is not. So this is the physical cloud which you see, but when it comes to the cloud, Dr. Jian Wang coined a term named as utility computing. So we need to understand, if you understand about this utility computing, we will understand clearly what exactly cloud is. And now after this cloud computing, we have a lot of terminologies like cloud kitchen. So have you heard of cloud kitchen? Like rather than ordering from the restaurant, when you go through the food ordering apps like Grab, like when I stayed in Jakarta, I used to order all the things through Grab. So if you order through Grab, there are a lot of vendors who don't have a restaurant, but they cook in some remote locations and then they ship it to the customers through this quick commerce. So that is cloud kitchen. Similarly, we have this cloud computing. So for that cloud computing, we need to understand about utility computing, which was proposed by Dr. Jian Wang. So what is utility, first of all? We are all using utility. Without utility, our lives will be like going to the Stone Age. So the electricity which we use, or the water which we use, or the internet packages which we use, or the mobile services which we use, or the gas connections, the LPG gas which we take for our homes, these are all utilities. Why? We don't need to have an electricity power plant for each of our homes, but we get the subscription from the electricity company and we pay for the consumption we have made. Similarly, we have the water connections. You consume the water and you pay for the amount you have consumed. You don't need to have that water production plant or like the electricity production plant or anything. So this is why we call these as utility. Similarly, in computing, we have several needs. We have the requirement in terms of computing, we have the requirements in terms of the storages, and also for the networking solutions. So in case if you want to have like multiple servers, let's say Eunice is buying a server, like a physical server. Today you will buy one server and tomorrow more number of students flock into your university and they try to access all your servers. So in that case, what will you do? Will the server will be good enough? They may allow certain number of requests, but it will need more and more people access, and then you need more servers. So you cannot keep adding more and more servers. It's practically difficult. So in that case, we have this thing called as utility computing, where you can hire the resources from the cloud and then you pay for how much you have used, and you don't need to worry about the hardware or the maintenance of it. That is what we call as cloud computing, and we started this Alibaba Cloud in 2009 based on this scenario. Now I hope all of you understand about what is cloud and how Alibaba Cloud was started, right? So until the year 2014, we were like a purely Chinese company providing services for the Chinese customers. But in 2015, or in 2014, we went Go Global initiative, and in 2015, we established our first data center in Singapore. And that's why in Alibaba Cloud, there are two businesses. One is the Aliyun.com for the China business and AlibabaCloud.com for the international business. So these are like two different entities within Alibaba Cloud. And if you see this Singapore, it's now the headquarters for the international cloud business. And Hangzhou is for the China business. So we have the data centers developed in 2015 in Singapore and in US. And in 2017, we became the partner with the International Olympic Committee. Since then, we have been supporting most of the Olympics and the big sporting events, and even the recent 2024 Paris Olympics was supported by Alibaba Cloud. So we have like internet as an infrastructure, and then we moved into like data center is the computer where you hire the computing resources, and now we bring cloud computing with the terminology as computing as utility. So if you want to learn more about the analogies which are presented by Dr. Jian Wang, I will suggest you to read a book, Being Online. Let me type in the title of the book. Being Online by Dr. Jian Wang. So this book is like a wonderful piece I have ever read, and it gives a good amount of information on how to understand cloud. When I was teaching in the university, even before coming to Alibaba Cloud, I have read this book. And when I started creating the contents and the materials for my students to learn, these analogies helped me a lot to teach as well as to understand the concepts of cloud. Now coming to the global infrastructure of Alibaba Cloud, We are spanning across 29 regions all across the world, and we have 87 availability zones, and we have like 3,200 plus edge nodes. Our bandwidth goes like up to like 180 terabytes per second. So here we have like new IDCs, the new data centers opened. Recently, we opened in Mexico and Thailand. Already they had one data center, and now they have two. Malaysia got its third one, and then South Korea and Dubai are going to have their new data centers. So why do you need these edge nodes? Like some countries, like especially in Indonesia, we have 3 data centers. And if you take some other countries, let's say Brunei or Timor East, or like even some other countries where we don't have the data centers, where will these people get the faster connectivity? So that's the reason why we have these edge nodes, which will have like their presence in multiple countries. Even in those countries, we don't have a data center. So through that, we get like a faster connection, which connects to all our data centers. So that's about our infrastructure. And now coming to our internal technology. So we call the core operating system of Alibaba Cloud as Apsara system. We otherwise call this as Apsara OS. So why we call this as Apsara? So this Apsara is a mythical character from the Chinese epic. So that name is adopted for this. So us as a whole, like the infrastructure of Alibaba Cloud, we call it as the CIPU. We call this as the Cloud Infrastructure Processing Unit, which runs this Apsara OS. And we have the cloud kernel, which is according to the Shenlong architecture, Pangu distributed storage, and for networking, we use the Liuotian network, and security, we have a lot of solutions. So when you think about the advantages of Alibaba Cloud, our biggest advantage when it comes to the Western cloud service providers is that we have our own set of architectures for the storage or computing or for networking. And then when it comes to the security, we are ranking #1 in cloud security by Gartner. So the reason is because we don't rely on any third-party services to provide security for our cloud. So we have security services for each and every need, and we provide the subsystems like the elastic compute, cloud storage, cloud network, and even cloud security. And then apart from this, we have like native services for the databases, like we have the PolarDB, and then we have the DingTalk, Lingyang, and some AI services. So all these are available. So we have like a high availability for all the services. We have a commitment to provide an availability of 99.99% of availability. That means our services, if deployed in a year, you will have a downtime of less than 52 minutes for the whole year. So that's the commitment which we provide. Most of the services we are successful in providing this. And if you compare the availability of our availability with other cloud service providers, we are having a slight advantage that we are going ahead of the other competitors. Now, coming to the comparison, I'm not going to say who is the other cloud service providers. According to IDC, that is the internal statistics provider for the China public cloud service, Alibaba Cloud holds like 27.1% of the market share, and it is the #1 currently. And then for the Asia Pacific region, we are still #1 in like having like the market share of 22.2%. This is according to the Gartner. And for the whole world scenario, we are holding like close to 8 to 9% of the market share. So with that, we are toggling between the 3rd and the 4th position all the time. And now this is the comprehensive product portfolio. We have the offerings of public cloud, where anybody can create their accounts and start buying the products. we provide like more than 150 products for the public cloud. And then we have the private cloud offerings like the Apsara stack, C stack, and Sofa stack. So those are like for like some telco providers or like some local governments. They all buy these kind of private cloud and they offer it for their end users. And now coming to the world-class security and privacy compliance capability. So we are known for complying with all the international certifications. As you can see, we have the ISO certifications, Cyber GRX and PCI, ISO to 42001, and then we have the compliance management and so storage security and so on. And then we have the regional and the national level compliances. When you think about Singapore, we have the IMDA, which is governing the data centers. So we have the multi-tier cloud security, MTCS, and the data protection trust mark, DPTM, cyber trust mark, CTM, and Apex CBPR and PRP. And even Indonesian government has some compliances for the data centers operating in Indonesia. So when you think about the compliances for Indonesia, your government is very skeptical that they don't want the businesses to take the data outside of Indonesia. So we are satisfying that compliance like by providing 3 data centers inside Jakarta, and we are complying highly with the Indonesian government perspective. And then when you think about some kind of myth or like some kind of rumor which is spread, like people say like we are some Chinese cloud service providers. Of course, we are Chinese cloud service providers, but we satisfy the regional compliances that the data will be governed by the local government guidelines. So in case if you are starting your business in Indonesia and you want to have the IT infrastructure and going with Alibaba Cloud, you are not going to have any trouble with the government compliances. We try to fit you well with all the regulations with your local government and the global compliances. So we are in that way, we are more transparent when it comes to the security and the privacy compliance capabilities. And when it comes to the cloud security, we are having our own cloud service services. We have the cloud web application firewall and anti-DDoS cloud firewall, cloud native application protection platform, and then we have the identity security, ID as a service, and so many services which we provide like par in excellence with all the Western cloud service providers. In case if you are trying to look for an IT infrastructure for later for your businesses, and if you compare with your requirements and try to do a mapping with Alibaba Cloud with all the other cloud service providers, we have the best coverage of security services for among all the competitors. So we have like more than 100 services for security itself, and we are recognized by like the top authorities like Gartner, Forrester, and IDC. Especially for the Gartner, we are for the whole world, right? So for Gartner has specified that we are number 1 in providing cloud security. So we are helping more than 7.34 million users every year with their vulnerabilities to security. And then we have identified and assisted like almost 7.89 million customers. And we have given us single IP defense capability, which reaches up to like 2.08 terabytes per second. And for the attacks, we are mitigating the risk from like more than 2 billion attacks every day. And then there are like more than 65,000 active security technicians in the community. And then for the threat intelligence data capabilities, they are updated over 1 billion records every day. And then we have like quality services for the global customers. So this is like some of our services which we are providing. So if you take our coverage for the global infrastructure, we are having 3 data centers in Indonesia right now. And then we have, even in Indonesia, you have the AI services, like you can have the GPU cards. So we have a lot of solutions available for Indonesia. And then we have 3 data centers in Singapore, Malaysia, and then we have our 2 data centers in Thailand, 1 in Manila, Philippines. So we are having our presence in this Asia Pacific region. So we are clustered around in this region. So in case if you are having your businesses within the ASEAN region, or you want to expand to the Asia Pacific region as a whole, Alibaba Cloud will be providing the best ever infrastructure you can ever think of. So that's about a slight introduction about Alibaba Cloud. And now I would like to move on to my next topic, that is about Elastic Compute Service. So Elastic Compute Service is the cloud service which you have with Alibaba Cloud. So let me share my screen. So in this presentation, I would present about our product of Elastic Compute Service, and I will show how you can easily create a server by yourself. So Bayu will be supporting my training for today, and you guys will be having the student privileges. Each one of you will be privileged to have one free server, that is one Elastic Compute Service server from Alibaba Cloud, and you can use it for unlimited hours for a period of 1 year. So Bayu will be providing more information on how you can redeem this. And do you need a tech background to understand this concept? Definitely no. I see that you are all from the communication faculty, so you may have a slight or like a very tiny background in the tech. But I can quote something like in my past, I have seen people coming from humanities background, but they learn this quite easily and they are able to go with the easiest instances very easily. And by the end of this course, you will be able to find the difference between the on-prem servers and the cloud servers. And then I explain the basics of Alibaba Cloud Elastic Compute Service. And then we differentiate between the different compute options provided by Alibaba Cloud. So I mentioned that we don't need to have any tech background, but how this works. If you all know how to use Facebook, if you know how to use Instagram, if you know how to upload your content or update your status in Facebook or in your other social media, definitely you can create a server very easily. So it's not a big deal at all. So let's see how we can get started. So firstly, we see on what are servers, and then move on to the Alibaba Cloud's ECS, and then look on to the other compute options in Alibaba Cloud. After discussing all these 3 topics, I'm gonna give you a demo on how you can create your own ECS server and how you can manage this. We are gonna play with the ECS instance and create like a small website. It's going to be like fun today. Okay, so I hope you all are going to enjoy the session on my presentation as well as my demonstration. So let's see what are servers. So we use the servers with these different names. We store the files, then we call this as the file servers. And if you store the databases, we call this as the database servers. And then we have the app servers, web servers, and so many uh, servers we have, right? So have you ever seen a server in your university, in UNS? So if you go to your IT, not the IT faculty, the IT systems in your university, they will be managing some internal servers or something like that. So what is the disadvantage when it comes to the on-prem servers? Like if you see the physical server somewhere in the rooms which is air-conned and they are providing some kind of local storage or compute, then that is what we call as on-prem servers. And if you are consuming or hiring from the internet for using these cloud services, I mean, that is what we call as the cloud servers. So these servers will be having its own CPU, and it will have its storage, and it will have a dedicated RAM and also the GPU. So all together we say this as the servers. Nowadays we need the servers with the GPU as well, because we go with like high capacity rendering. Like in case if you are creating an advertisement campaign, or like if you are creating some 3D animation or like some 2D animation for your advertisements, you cannot just rely on the CPU to process all those videos or the media content which you need to create for your advertising. You need the support of the GPU. So when you are using the cloud, we provide these options with the CPU as well as with the GPU to provide like a very fast communication. So we provide these services from these potentially good enough components, and it is provided over a network, and you can use it within an enterprise. You can connect it through the internet and provide it for a huge number of people, or you can restrict that usage within a certain number of users as well. Like how you can restrict the usage? Like if you are having some materials, you may observe like those materials will be available only when you connect to the internet of your university. If you connect to your mobile network, or if you go to access from your home, you will not get it until you get the proper VPN tunneling. So those are like very restricted networks. So this cloud can be used for both restricted networks as well as for the public networks. Now we are going to see the disadvantages of the on-prem servers. Now, why we need to have this IT transformation? Why do we need the cloud? So for that, I would like to quote some statistics, like based on a book which you might have read, 21 Lessons for 21st Century, which is written by Yuval Noah Harari, where he mentions that any organization or any business uh, who is not keeping track of the data which is involved in the business, or they are not having the IT services within the next 100 years, they are not going to survive. So if you want to survive your business for a very long term, usage of IT infrastructure, and that too in the cloud, is very essential. That's why in Indonesia you can see a lot of businesses are moving towards the cloud. And now when you go for the on-prem services, it will be coming with a high upfront cost, because firstly you have to go and look for the place where you need to build your own server. So that place will cost you a lot, right? So then you have to buy your servers, the storage, and then you have to pay for the internet, and then the electricity, water, and then you need to hire the people. So it will have like a lot of requirements, and you need to have people to do the maintenance, and then it has a low scalability and future proofing, and also it has security concerns. If you don't have proper security mechanisms for your data, then there is a huge risk. To avoid all these drawbacks, we are moving into the cloud. So it has a physical layer like a normal on-prem server. And on top of the physical layer, we have something called as the virtualization layer, otherwise called as the hypervisor. So here we have a CPU, and it will have a storage device and a communication device. You don't need to manage anything, or you don't need to do the maintenance of it, because it is highly secured within our data centers, and you don't need to spend too much of money. It reduces the cost. And then you can have like as many number of virtual machines. So these virtual machines will act like your own server. So today you may require one server, and it will work fine. Like maybe 500 people come and access your servers, they are fine. But you know about the population of Indonesia, right? So it's a small country with a huge population. So you can expect a huge number of people coming to access your services. It doesn't need to be technical. It doesn't need to be like a very high level IT systems. Even if you are having your own domain related industry, like for the communication systems, or like for the businesses which need like the digital communications, you definitely need to have a server. So today, if 500 people acquire your services, they are fine with one server, fine. Tomorrow, if the number of people increases, it goes like 50,000 or like 500,000, then one server will not be able to manage. But when you have like a on-premises server, what you are supposed to do, you have to keep buying more and more services. More and more servers you need to buy. But tomorrow you need 3 additional servers. So you are buying 3 additional servers. And the day after, on Fridays are like a kind of for religious offering for your country, right? So not many people will be doing the businesses. So on that day, you don't need that many number of servers. You can optimize based on your demand. If the demand increases, you can buy the number of servers. And if the demand goes down, you can reduce the number of servers. But on-prem, you cannot do it. Once you buy that hardware, you have no choice than keeping it with you. But here, you create and you delete whenever you want, and you will be paying only for the usage you are doing. Now we have like different forms of compute in the cloud era. We have the virtual machines, which we are usually doing, like as you can see in the terms of VMware and the cloud infrastructure. And nowadays we are having these containers, especially when you watch the video of Kegiatan, you will see this term called as containers. We have something called as Alibaba Cloud containers for Kubernetes. So what exactly this container is? To understand this containers and Kubernetes, I will give you a very simple analogy to understand. You are using a smartphone, right? Some of you will be using iPhone. You will be having the iOS. And for the iOS, you buy the apps from the App Store. To build those apps in the App Store, you need a different type of technology. You cannot use this App Store apps in iPhone to be used for an Android app, right? Similarly, Android also has the same thing. You go to the Play Store and buy the apps, right? So same app, you use an Apple iPhone and you download Facebook, and you use a Play Store to download Facebook. Both are same app, right? Same company, same material, you'll get it. But it is depending on the type of operating system running in that particular mobile phone, we have these different techniques. Now, how can you develop these apps? So do you need 2 teams? One team to develop for the App Store and one team to develop for the Play Store. It is double expense for you. For instance, you are running a communication business, like you are having your advertisement marketing business. You need to have an app. So if you go for 2 different types of teams, then it is double expense. But when you go for the container, you just need to have one container and keep the app inside, and you develop one app and put it inside, and in the bins and libs are like binaries and the libraries. These are like some helping files. If you need to run the app in iPhone, you need those libraries. Libraries are like some supporting materials. And for Android, you need to have certain libraries and binaries. You add the binaries which are required for iPhone and the binaries which are required for that Android, and you put it into one container. Container is just like a box. You see the shipping containers, right? Same thing. You have the Docker, which will dock the containers into the container engine, and then you keep the app inside and you add the supporting binaries and the libraries required for that app. It is going to run. So you don't need to have a specific iOS for running this container, or you don't need to have an Android operating system also. You just keep that app and it will support both iPhone and Android. So you use only one development team which will provide you with the app, and you can use it for multiple scenarios. So that's about the containers. And now we are moving towards serverless computing. Serverless computing, what it is? So these are like the virtual machines, they are servers. Containers, we are having a server. But what the thing we are doing with the serverless? We are not going to concern about what kind of processor is inside, what memory is inside, what storage is inside. Instead, you just add the functions inside. So we have a product named as function compute, which can do the serverless compute. If you have learned about AWS, it is Lambda. So instead of that, we have function compute in this serverless computing. Now, thinking about serverless computing, does it mean that you are not going to have a server at all? You will definitely have a server. Without server, it will not run. But being the end user, you don't need to configure the server. It will be like a cloud native model which will allow you to build as well as to deploy the applications. When you build and deploy the applications, you don't need to manage the servers. That is the main essence of having this serverless computing. So we see the difference between the serverful as well as the serverless architecture. Firstly, we see the infrastructure. So when you go with the normal ECS, the user need to manage the cloud infrastructure. You need to check what kind of RAM you are providing, how much storage you are providing, what is the processor you are using, Intel or AMD or etc. etc. When it comes to serverless, it is the cloud service provider who manage the cloud infrastructure. So here Alibaba Cloud is the one who manage the cloud services. So that's how we go for the serverless. And next we have the resource specification. So here we specify the CPU and the memory for the cloud service. So just as I mentioned, like you have to specify what is the CPU and what is the processor, what is the make, what is the version, you have to specify this. But here you need to specify the CPU and memory for the containers when it comes to the serverless systems. And next for the scaling, the user need to manually set up some scaling. But when it comes to serverless, based on the demand, it will automatically scale. When there is a demand, it will increase the number of servers immediately. When there is no demand, it will step down, like it will automatically remove the additional servers. So thereby it will optimize the cost. When you go for a business, when you have an IT infrastructure, the major thing which comes to your mind is the cost. How much you're gonna pay? How much budget do you have? So you can optimize your budget very well when it comes to the cloud service, because you are going to pay only based on your needs, only based on your commitment. And next we have the cost models. For the server architecture, we pay for the resources, whether they are running or idle, because it will not charge for when it is not running, but there will be like some storage. The cost will incur as long as that resource is existing. But when it comes to serverless, you pay for the resources only when it is running. And the last one is the use cases. These are the apps that require more control over the infrastructure, whereas the serverless, these are the apps which need a rapid scaling and you don't really need any maintenance. So when you see about different compute options on Alibaba Cloud, we have the cloud servers. For that purpose, we have the ECS, that is the Elastic Compute Service. So this will provide all the resources with the CPU and the memory to suit with different types of requirements. And then we have the container service for Kubernetes or ACK. So this is like a high performance and scalable containerized application management service. In the beginning, I mentioned you to watch the video of Kegiatan with Alibaba Cloud, right? So there you can see like their pain points, like they wanted to process millions of orders every day, Millions means millions of orders, which is not possible with a normal or a small server. So when you are using this container service, it was able to process millions of orders per second. And that's how they were using this ACK, and you can see this product featured in that video. And then we have this elastic container instance. This will help you to run the containers without managing any servers inside. So these are the three compute options available in Alibaba Cloud. But for today's demonstration, we will see onto this elastic compute service. And now I have a small quiz. Based on the slides which I have presented so far, can anyone answer this question? Which layer abstracts physical resources into virtual resources? Can I have the answer for this? Anybody have the answer for this? I will give you a few seconds time to respond. You can post it in the chat box. Which layer abstracts the physical layer to virtual resources? That's the question. You can respond whether it is A, B, C, or D.
I would like to answer, sir. Is it B?
You are saying B?
Yeah.
Okay. Any others having the response?
I think I'm also say the same answer, sir.
Okay, same answer. B, right? Okay, so we are getting this answer as B. Yeah, it is correct. Perfect. So let's move on to Alibaba Cloud Elastic Compute Service, or ECS. So what makes an ECS instance? It is actually a virtual machine which is running on Alibaba Cloud. So this instance is like a computing environment which will be having its own CPU, memory, that is a RAM, and then a storage system, that is a hard disk or a SSD, and then you have a network to run a modern operating system. And now we have the naming conventions for the ECS. So each part you see here, it will correspond to a certain value. ECS, of course, it belongs to the ECS product. And what is this G8A? The G stands for general purpose. So you have like different types of CPU. Compute optimized means it should be C. General purpose, it is G. R is memory optimized. The HF is like a high frequency, high clock speed. And then we have the GPU accelerated GN, VGN, and the GPU accelerated shared is SGN. So here it is G, that is general purpose. And then next, the number 8, that is the generation. So this ECS instance belongs to the 8th generation. Currently, Alibaba Cloud has 9th generation as the latest. And next, we have the letter A, that is the additional capability, which says like what is the make. So as it is A, it is AMD processor. So the ECS instance which you are using here, it is having AMD processor. And then we have Intel processor. If you are using Intel processor, it will be like mentioned as I. And then we have the 3x large. Large means you will have like two virtual CPUs. So it will have like two CPUs running together. X large, it is 4 vCPUs. 2x large, it is 8 vCPUs. So here it is mentioned as 3x large. That means it will have 10 vCPUs. So you can imagine how much capacity you can build on a server. Now we have different types of ECS instances. So these ECS instances, based on different type of requirements, we can categorize. So for the basic functionalities, we have that light workloads, which goes like T6/E. And then we have the enterprise grade instances for the general purpose and the compute intensive workloads. We have the G8A, C8A, IC5, and then for the big data applications. So here you need to know the difference between the normal data and the big data. So when you are having the old applications, we use some databases like SQL or like the product like MySQL, PostgreSQL. They can manage like few thousands of records in the table. What if your table is expanding more and more and goes like adding millions of records of data every day? So in that case, we have the big data applications which comes into force. So here when it go for the big data applications, you are going to process a huge amount of data, but the processing time should be faster. So for that purpose itself, we have some dedicated ECS instances. And then in case if you want to process more number of queries, then you go with the memory intensive applications. Then we have the input output intensive applications, high clock speed applications. Apart from this, we have the special ECS instances for scientific computing. And then we have like the direct hardware based computing. So when you think about the physical server and the online server, the physical server has like 2 to 3 advantages. But for the other parameters, the cloud server will have like the best advantage. But when it comes to the parameters where the hardware servers are doing good, the cloud servers may not be compatible in that way. So in that case, you can go for the ECS bare metal instances, which we have it over here. So this will have the advantage of the on-premises, like the local server-based systems, as well as the advantages of the cloud servers. So that's how we have the applications which require the direct hardware access. And now, those are like the normal CPU-based instances. Now, apart from these CPU-based instances, some instances we need to have the support with the external hardwares like the GPUs or the FPGA boards. So we have the GPU accelerated instances on top of the Alibaba Cloud's Shenlang architecture. So for this, we use the NVIDIA grid licenses provided with the instances. So you can use it for the graphics workstations or for the general GPU based applications. For the AI solutions nowadays, you cannot create anything with AI without GPUs. GPUs are the most needed ones. And even if you want to do like the graphics or animations with the 2-dimension, 3-dimension, definitely you need to have the GPUs. And now, what is an ECS image? Okay, we have the server in the cloud, somewhere it is stored, right? So what if we lose the data? We need to have that backup. So for that backup, we have the snapshot. So this ECS, it will have the operating system and then the data. When you have all these things, we create something called a snapshot. What is a snap? Using a camera, we take a picture, right? So what it does, it will take the view of what you are seeing. And here it will take a snapshot, means it will take a copy of all the data in that server and keep it safe. So in case if the server crashes or if there is some fault with the server, you can look for this snapshot which is available and you can run the server again and you don't have any data loss. That is the advantage of having the snapshot. So how you can do it? You have the snapshot stored. If something goes wrong, you convert the snapshot into an image, and that image can be loaded into a new ECS instance, and it will start running like the old instance which we saw failed. So this is the basic template for creating the ECS instance. And there are like the configurations which you need to specify, the operating system and the pre-configuration data. And then you need to select the image, and then it can have like the system disk and the data disk. So these things look technical, but when you see the demo which I am going to show, you are not going to feel difficult. It's going to be like very easy. You just need to choose the answers. Like you just need to go to some drop down and choose these options. That's all. And now we have the different types of images. Images are the operating systems which we provide. So for that we have the public images. So in the public images we have the operating systems like Alibaba Cloud Linux, different versions of other Linux distributions, and even we have Windows. So these comes under the public images. And then we have the custom images. So what are these custom images? So they are used from the instances, from the snapshots, and then from the OSs, and then from the Packer tool. So from these, we create something called as the custom image. So these are like a image or the operating system along with the softwares and some data which we stored earlier. So you don't need to waste your time on installing the software. For example, you created a server, it has some software which can create some animation. So you spend 2 hours to install those softwares into your ECS instance. Now you need multiple servers. You need to provide these systems to your colleagues or to your employees. What will you do? You will create multiple servers, of course, fine. Will you spend 2 hours each on each server? It is waste of time. Rather, from the first server, you create a custom image. And then when you load the image into the new ECS instance, you don't need to spend the time of installation. You save a lot of time and you will automatically have those softwares installed automatically. You don't need to do any technical things. You don't need to specify anything. You just choose that custom image, then done. And then we have the shared images. For example, you created one custom image and some of your partners or your other groups, they want to use the same specifications. You can share that image across the accounts, so they also will be able to do it. So you can have like the transparency is provided with the images in Alibaba Cloud ECS. And then we have the community images. You can publish these images to the community so the people can benefit from that. And then we have the marketplace image. In case if you have a specific server configuration which is done by you and you want to sell it to some people, they can buy from you from the marketplace images. So these are used for launching and creating the instances and also to delete the instances and manage them perfectly. And now we have the ECS instances explained. We have the public image and then the marketplace image, custom image, and the shared image. So now I have like a question. An ECS image is commonly defined as a basic template for creating the ECS instance because it contains what? Here you have to choose multiple answers. Which one is the answer?
I would answer B, operating system.
B, operating system. Any other answers? So Ms. Dina has mentioned it is just operating system. Any other answers? So it's actually the operating system and the pre-configuration data. So just need to give the configuration details and you need to choose which operating system you need to load in that server. It will automatically go with the ECS instance. And now we see about the other compute options on Alibaba Cloud. So here we have the Alibaba Cloud Container Service for Kubernetes, which you may see in the video of Kopi Kenagan. So this integrates the virtualization, storage, networking, and security capabilities, and it will let you to deploy the applications with the high performance and scalable containers. And also it will provide the full lifecycle management, that is from creation until deletion. It will provide a life cycle management with enterprise grade containerized applications. So for this purpose, we have the dedicated Kubernetes, managed Kubernetes, and then with the container service for Kubernetes serverless. So when you move from the dedicated Kubernetes to the container service for Kubernetes serverless, the nodes which are managed by the end user keeps reducing. So for the dedicated Kubernetes, everything is managed by the user. The managed Kubernetes, only the worker nodes are managed by the user. When it comes to serverless, everything is managed by Alibaba Cloud Container Service for Kubernetes. And next we have the Elastic Container Instance or ECI. So these are like agile, secure, and serverless container management service. And they also help to focus on the business applications instead of managing the infrastructure. And these will be having like a very powerful engine with the Kubernetes engine. And they are having elastic and agile working fundamentals. And it is extremely fast, and it can spin up the instances faster than the ECS instances. And they are tightly integrated with other Alibaba Cloud services. And also it has the capability to connect with the other cloud services, with other cloud providers, or from the on-prem service. And now I have a question. Which nodes does the user manage in case of managed Kubernetes? For the dedicated Kubernetes, we have both the master nodes and the worker nodes. Then we had the managed Kubernetes. So here the master node is managed by the ACK, and only the worker nodes is managed by Alibaba Cloud. Sorry, the end user. And that's about the presentation on ECS and the compute options. Now I'm moving to the demo. You can see on how you can create an ECS instance. So let's get started. So once you create an Alibaba Cloud account, you will get into a system like this. So here you will click on to the console. So the console will be over here. So now we have reached the console. So we need to look on to the product, right? So you will have this recently used product. And here you will see like the expenses over the month, how much you have consumed. All those information will be available in US dollars. And then we have like some of the services which can be activated without any fees. So like if you have included these products, it is not going to charge you unless you use that product. So these will be listed over here. And then we have like the resource alert and the safety monitor, and then the API search and everything over here. But now how you can go to the ECS? You can click on to this recently used product if you have used, or you can click on to the ECS over here, or you go to the search bar and search like ECS. You can go to the console of ECS through this. And the best way I will recommend you to go to the three dashes in the left top corner over here. Mouse over this area, you will get this thing option open. And now I choose to the product ECS. And in the computing, I have this elastic compute service. I have done the favorite, so that's why it is showing in the left hand side. So you just click on to this ECS elastic compute service. Then you are done. So you are reached the ECS server. Now it shows like I have one instance which is created. So here I have this one instance which is created, but I have stopped it. So it is not running. So I have to create one instance in Indonesia. So for that, I click on to create instance. So here we have the billing modes. It shows like how you want to get charged. So if it is a subscription, it goes for a minimum of 1 month. So the 1 month cost will be like 45.33 US dollars. And then if you go for pay as you go, it is like a very lesser one, like for the hourly basis, you will get charged like 0.087 US dollars. So you can see like the pricing over here, but when you are using the instance which is dedicated for you from the AAEP, you don't need to pay for this. You will absolutely use it for free. But I'm just showing how it is charging you. And then we have the preemptible instance. So these preemptible instances are like not so expensive like the pay as you go as well, but it will be available for a couple of hours. And later it will go for the payment of pay as you go. But now today I'm going to use it for like more than 4-5 hours. I will keep this server open. So which payment option should I go? If I go for subscription, whether I use it for a month or not, I have to pay $45. And if I go for pay as you go, for every hour I pay like 0.087, but I can use it for more than 2 to 3 hours. And then I go for the preemptible instance, I can go for like 0.02 US dollars. So which one do you prefer? I want to run this server for one full day today, only for today. Which one is the best option? So your commitment is so short that you want to run it for only one day. Then you can go for pay as you go. But your commitment is longer, then you can go for subscription. And here you can mention like the ICP filings. So ICP filings is like something related to having the instances to be purchased inside the mainland China. So now I have to choose the region. So I click on to this, select another region and then scroll down. I see this Indonesia, Jakarta. So I select the region now. So if you go for pay as you go in Indonesia, the cost is 0.10 per hour. And then I choose a network VPC. Either you can choose the default one or I choose the VPC which is available, which I have created. You can create a VPC by yourself and then you can do it. So here we have chosen the VPC and then I need to choose the instance. What instance do I need? So already I told you the instance type configuration, ECS G7 large. So here G7 means it is a general type instance of the generation 7 and large means it has 2 vCPUs. X large means it will have 4 vCPUs. 2X large is like 8 vCPUs. 3X large, I'm sorry I mentioned as 10, it's actually 12 vCPUs. So here I will just choose a very basic one. Today I will just show a small thing. And then I can choose the operating system. You can go for the public images or the custom images which are available, or like shared images or the marketplace images. So I go with the public image and then I choose Ubuntu. And even you can see this Windows Server, this comes along with the key. The price includes the key as well. So I choose the Ubuntu and then I select the version which I need. I will go for the latest version of Ubuntu. Okay, and then it will have a free security hardening. And then by default, how much of storage space we provide for that server? By default, it goes for like 40 GB. In case if you want to increase, like let's say 100 GB, from 0.10, the cost will go to like 0.108, something like that. So if I go for like just 20 GB, it goes less than 0.1, like 0.09 US dollars per hour. So you can choose how much storage you need and then scroll down. If you want to create an automatic snapshot, you can create it, or you can have like a default policy you can select, but today I don't need it because I'm going to delete it. And then you create a server. It has to access to the internet, right? So for that you have to go to this bandwidths and security groups. So here you have to assign the public IPv4. You can go by pay by bandwidth or pay by traffic. So for the minimum, it will have the cost of the ECS, and the internet traffic fee will be like, for every gigabyte of upload and download, it will cost you $0.09. And then you have to select the security group. I select the security group which is available. Selected. Okay. And then to log on into the server, you can give a key pair or the custom password you can create. So I go for the custom password. So here I enter a password. So you can see what are the passwords you need to give. I'm not writing any code, right? So just I'm creating the server now. So I give the password. Just giving the password like you are creating the email account. And then I want to create a name for the instance to easily identify. I name it as UNNES. And then all the others are okay. If you want, you can choose. The resource group also you can choose. And here it says like how many ECS instances you want to create. I want to create only one instance. In case if you want to have more, you can click on to like this, and you can reduce and to bring it like 1. I just need only 1. And here you have like the set the automatic release time. I want to release it today like at 2:30 I want to release this one. So I just select like this. At 2:30 it will automatically release if I don't stop this instance, or like if I don't delete this instance. Automatically by 2:34 today it will release the instance. It will delete the total. And now you see the configuration. We go with the pay as you go. We selected Jakarta Zone A. That is, we have 3 data centers in Jakarta, right? So we choose the Zone A out of it. And the VPC we have selected, vSwitch we have selected, and then the operating system is Ubuntu, and then the type of the instance and the RAM, everything. So then we have the security group added, and then we have given the custom password. We have given the instance name as UNES, and then we create the order. So just to click on to this create order. Click onto this console. And now we have this instance which is starting. So until this starting operating system gets disabled, you have to wait. We have to wait for like few seconds for that to totally initialize. The server is running now. There is no problem. The server is running, but it has to start with the booting. It has to completely run with the operating system, right? So now it has gone. So we go with this running now. So here we connect this instance. I click on to this connect. So here I go into the workbench. So here it will open like a Linux command prompt. I will enter the password which I entered earlier when I created the ECS instance. I give the password. So we successfully entered into the server. This window in this state, it shows like when you are getting this kind of welcome to Alibaba Cloud ECS service, it shows that we have successfully created the server. Now I want to update the operating system into the server. I just give this very basic command like apt update, and automatically it will update. And now I need to have a small web server in this one. So I go for this Nginx server. Okay, so for that I go for apt space install Nginx space -y. So this is how it will install the Nginx server into the ECS instance. Now that is totally done, right? Now I have this particular ECS instance which we have created. So here we have a public IP address. I copy this IP address and then I go to the tab and enter the IP address. So you get to see this welcome to Nginx. That means the web server is running. So I will copy this link and share it with your chat box. I ask you to try this IP address. You all will be getting this page. You can try, everybody can try. I have posted the link in the chat box. You can try to click on that, whether you are using a phone or you are using your laptop or your PCs, you can definitely access this IP address, and you can get to see the page which I have loaded. Can you acknowledge that you have reached the server? Are you able to reach to the server? Like, are you able to get the page which I display on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now I want to change this Nginx to UNNES. So for this, you need to have like the basic Linux commands. I go to cd space var slash www/html, and then we enter into it, and then I go for ls. I see that file over there. I just need to edit this file. So I go into vi space index dot nginx hyphen debian dot html. So here I need to change the thing in the h1. Welcome to Nginx. I will change it to press I and then specify as UNNES. And then I want to save this one, escape :WQ. So I give the commands over here. So you will be able to do it later. So the recording is going on in YouTube. So you will be able to watch it again, and you can get it know again and again if you have any doubts with this procedure. So now I have saved this file, right? So I refresh this page. It will change to welcome to UNNES. You refresh the link which I gave you. You are able to change, see like welcome to UNNES,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So then you want to protect this ECS instance. For this purpose, you click on to this instance over here, and here we have something called as the delete protection. So if you click on to release, it will delete the instance, right? But you don't want to release it automatically. So for that, you have this release protection. And then if you want to stop the instance, you can click on to this one, or you can go here. Let's say in this part, you have this stop over here, or you see the other options, restart, stop, and release. So if you click onto this release, it will totally delete it. But if you are running a business, you may have to give the access to these servers to some employees in your company. What if they accidentally delete it? The total things what we have done so far will be gone, right? You will not be able to retrieve it. How to prevent this accidental deletion? So once you created the instance, you go to this option. In the ECS instance, you have these three dots. Click onto this and then scroll down. And then in one part, you will be able to see like delete protection. Enable delete protection. That will be the thing will be given. So here I mention it to release it automatically. So that's the reason why it's not showing. So here we have this enable release protection. So in case if I create another instance and pay as you go in Indonesia, I choose the VPC. I go for this one, VPC. And then the instance type is the basic one. And I don't want to waste my time in installing that Nginx again. So I can go for a custom image. Right now it's not available. Okay, I'll go with the public image itself. So then I can go to this Ubuntu. Just to show this demo, I'll choose this as 20. You can choose whichever you want, and then you can choose like the different type of disk. And then I assign the public IPv4. And then I select the security group again. And then a custom password I create. Done. Now I create the order. So I didn't give like automatic release time. I didn't mention set automatic release time. So I go to the console now. So now here you see like the two ECS instances are running. So for this instance, you go to this options of more operations and you have this enable release protection. And then I click on to OK. After giving this enable release protection, you go to this three dots and you will not be able to do the release. The release is gone, like you cannot, it is disabled, you cannot do the release at all. Now, how you want to delete this? For deleting this instance, firstly, you have to go to disable the release protection. So the release protection lock is taken out. And then after that, you click on to this release now. And then you check this one and then click OK. Oh, it's now creating. I have to wait for a while to delete it. So if you click on to release, okay, so now it is released. It's gone. But the other instances you cannot release like unless it is protected. So here this one is not protected. So if you want to release this one, you can release it also. So in case if you want to change to subscription mode, you can click on to this instance and then you can go to switch to subscription also you can do. And then we can have like the options to stop and restart. And then if you want to change the configurations, you can do it. You can click onto this and you can choose the instance type, like whatever the type of instances you want. Like you can choose the instances and then click OK, it will update it. You don't need to do a lot of things which you are supposed to be asked. It's just unnecessary. Now, how to manage these ECS instances, how to see the load, how to monitor this. So in this next to this instance details, you have this monitoring. So click on to this monitoring. Now we are going to see like how many of you access to the server which I gave you. So the CPU utilization, when I gave the IP address, some of you used it, and the intranet rate and then the internet rate, it was going to a peak rate of 4 megabyte per second. And then you see like the disk IOPS, and then the disk BPS, and all those statistics you can see. So this is a cloud monitor which is automatically attached with the ECS instances, and you can gain the access to that server. So then you will be able to monitor everything. Like if you want to see like the enlarged view, you can just click on to this part and then you can see like for 1 hour or for like 3 hours or for 6 hours or for 12 hours. And then you can see the parameters and then you can have like the custom also. And then you can have like the refresh of this also. So this is for the average, right? So then for the minimum and then for the maximum, or you can go for the average. So these visualizations will show like how you are monitoring and managing the ECS instances. Now, I am done with the demonstration, right? So in case if I want to delete this instance, I will go to the instances and then I go to this 3 dot and then I release this instance. It will release based on that timing. So it will release today at 2:34 by Singapore time. That is 1:34 by Indonesia time. So you keep refreshing this page. More and more number of requests are going in. So then after that you click onto the monitoring. So you have the monitoring here also. You click onto this. And then you will be able to see like the updated graph. Now you see here some more are going on. So do you have any questions related to this presentation and demo today? If you have any questions, you can post in the chat box. And then if you are done with the demo, I have a small feedback link I would like to share with all of you. So please fill out this survey form. I will post it in the chat box. This is for the survey. And then we have some quizzes. So as Bayo mentioned, we have a couple of quizzes you can take. It will give you a certificate valid for like 2 years. You can post it in your LinkedIn as the certifications you have obtained. So I post that link over here in the chat box. So for the survey and the quiz. So I request all of you to please take the survey form and you can provide your valuable feedback based on the presentation and the content I delivered today. So the quiz, I have given 2 links, right? So you can take these quizzes until you pass. So you have like multiple attempts you can do. The survey doesn't have much questions. You just click on to that and you fill out your name and your organization and your account UID and then your department major and then like just click on to the Flickr scale. So there will be like few questions related to the courses and the general experiences and the feedback on me. So you please provide your honest feedback based on the content which I have given. So I would like to thank you all in advance for providing the feedback. So if you have any questions, I can take a couple of questions to answer. So today we have learned about like the fundamentals of Alibaba Cloud and the Alibaba's cloud business, and then we learn about the ECS product, and I have shown you the demonstration on how to use and manage the ECS instances. So with this knowledge, I would like to say that you will be able to create your own ECS instance and you can manage it and you can create it with your websites as well. So you all have a free website possible, like you can have your own free ECS instances from us, and using that instances you can create a website and use it for your purpose. Whether it is for your personal website or you want to have it for your own startups or like some entrepreneurial stuff, you can definitely use it, and it is valid for 1 year. Okay, so please take a note of the link which I have shared with you. You will be receiving these links by the email as well. So please fill out the survey, and if you have any questions, you can post it in the chat box. I can answer your questions. So if you don't have any questions, I think we can end the session now. So I thank you all of you for joining this session. So see you again in another session in the future. Thank you all. I'll take a leave.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ferdinjo. As I'm here as representative of UNES because Dr. Fadli has leave and have another agenda. And also I'm a lecturer of the communication science. With this student, we will continue to finish our quizzes. Okay, so,
Sure.
is there any student want to ask to Mr. Ferdin about the quizzes? Do you understand all? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ferdin, for your time. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for your lecture today. So we hope can see you again in another occasion. Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you.
Halo,
Halo.
Ima.
Mm-mm.
Ini kuisisnya teman-teman mungkin bisa dikerjakan sambil sambil nanti setelah ini ya. Ini kita jelaskan dulu untuk pengisian My UNES Student dulu ya. Supaya teman-teman setelah mengerjakan kuisis nanti dapat sertifikat, kemudian sertifikatnya itu bisa teman-teman laporkan ke akun teman-teman masing-masing untuk menjadi portofolio nanti ketika lulus akan menjadi pendamping ijazah. Gitu.